So, hey, good evening. Hi, Facebook. Hi, TikTok. So I can laugh about it now, but I actually still am feeling some anxiety from this experience this morning, and I'm going to walk you through what happened, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about uh, a couple different perspectives. Was it innocent? Could it have been nefarious? Was it safe? Should I consider this a big deal? Why do I still feel anxiety hours later? All of that stuff. Uh, so this morning, most Sundays I'm off duty, and as long as I'm well enough to do so, then I will sing, and I sing professionally for a church in North Jersey. If you know, you know. If you don't need to know, you don't need to know. As far as where my location is and things like that. And hey, what's going on? FAFO. Ooh, girl, I love your name. Hi, Miss FAFO. So it's pretty customary. We're there in rehearsal really early in the morning, so we're gonna get coffee and stuff like that delivered. Nothing outside of the ordinary. I will say this. On my Uber account, my Uber Eats, on a lot of my accounts, I changed my name to a male name that's close to my first name. And I try to change my photo to where, if I can, it's just an emoji or something like that. Interactions like the one that I had this morning is why I did that. I remember when I used to drive for Uber, I would get people who would get in the car and be like, man, I've never had an Uber driver that looked like you before. And once or twice it's okay, but it started to get a little out of hand with that comment, and then taking it a little further. Or if I was getting picked up, the few times I had to rely on Uber, I would get comments on my picture, and I'm like, okay, you don't really have to comment on if you find me attractive or not. Just do your job. Just be professional. Like, it just got to me. It made me feel very uncomfortable. The focus that was on that, and then the entitlement of guys to be inappropriate, especially when I was driving for Uber. So I also noticed a couple of times, it happened enough to where it forced me to want to take other measures to try to be a little bit more anonymous and just protect myself and my peace, because it's not, I was kind of, society has, at least in the time that I was growing up, society would teach you that, oh, you should be flattered. You should be flattered when, someone comes on to you, or at least and then older women would say stuff like, I wish I could get that attention. At least you're getting attention. But for me, it's not my preference. It actually makes me feel disgusting, and it makes me feel like I'm not a human being and I'm an object, and it's not respectful. Like, you don't do that to everybody because it's not normal. Like, just do your job and that's it, and be professional. Do you do that to guys when they come in, dressed nice and being attractive? Like, stop. So I remember a couple of instances when I would get deliveries at my home, and the scariest was when I think this was when somebody was coming to do like a cable job or something like that, and he kept my personal number to try to reach out to me later on, and that was wildly inappropriate. And there was nothing in our interaction at all that would lead him to believe that the door was open for him to shoot his shot. Like, not at all. Like, this was not a personal call. This was not a personal thing. And things like that would also happen with my Uber account, because I would put like my social media, like follow me or listen to my music, and I would get attention that I just didn't want. I wasn't okay with it. So the final, after that, I just decided to change things. So again, I'm getting my Uber Eats like a lot of us singers do. We get, coffee or breakfast delivered because we have rehearsal early in the morning there at the church. So, that's what we do. Sometimes it's a group order. I mean, nothing that needs to be explained there. And when it was close to arriving. Oftentimes, if we can't get away from the staging area, then they'll just kind of leave it somewhere. But if we can pick it up, of course, I want to pick it up, especially like my fresh latte. So I went to the door, and when I saw the car pulling up, I stepped outside, and the guy pulled up, and he rolled down the window, and he's just kind of looking at me, kind of confused, which kind of makes sense because my name probably would make you think that I'm a guy. And I said, "That's mine." And I said the nickname, and I'm picking up my stuff, and he was like, "I was looking for a," and I was like, "Yeah, well, that's me. It's mine." So, I reached my hand out, and he got ready to hand me the bag. But as he's handing me the bag, he sees I'm holding a microphone, and he was like, "Are you an actor or something?" And I was like, "Yeah, but no, we're in rehearsal." And he was like, "Rehearsal? Is that a theater?" I'm just trying to be kind. I'm not thinking anything else of it. So I said, "No, actually, this is a church." Now, mind you, on the order, it said the name of the church. And at this church, the name is big. The name is big in a couple places, including a big old screen on one of you got to pass, the way he was coming, he had to pass the big screen on this side of the church. So clearly, it's a church, not a theater. But I don't know, maybe he wasn't paying attention. Maybe he wasn't paying attention to where he was delivering either. Who knows? Although it told you. But I just said, no, I said, this is a church and we actually have service at 10. I said, you're welcome to come back to church at 10 if you'd like. And I didn't think anything else of it. He was like, well, I'm working all day. And I said, all right, well, I hope you make a lot of money. And, I took my stuff because it's like there, and the whole time I'm like, give my stuff. Like, you trying to talk to me, but I'm trying to go. I'm trying to be friendly. Bye. So I, kind of took my stuff and went back into rehearsal. Didn't think anything else of it. I'm done. On with my day. Just being kind, just being polite. That's it. Now, was there anything in that could be misinterpreted as shoot your shot? I'd like to get to know more. The door's open for you to get to know me more. Literally, I said, we have church. You're welcome to come back to church. Because it's church, So later on, toward the end of rehearsal, the music director texts me and he goes, hey, in a couple of minutes, go to the foyer because there's somebody there with some flowers for you. And he probably didn't think anything else of it. It didn't dawn on me at all that it could have been this person again. My immediate thought was dread. My immediate thought was dread and fear. And it triggered my PTSD, which I've, been diagnosed with PTSD because of past abuse. And my first thought, was, oh my God, not this shit again. Oh my God, not this again. Because I literally just ended a court battle, less than a month ago with a former abuser that I was married to who used to pull shit like this. When I lived in the same state as him, he would come to my church to show up, or he would send flowers to my job. And I got a text message, in this moment that says there's a guy that's in the foyer with flowers, and not even less than a month ago. This is really, really, really fresh that this court date just ended. And I know that he has an awareness of, I'm trying to be careful with my words here. Even that, he has an awareness of the area that I live, and he's also a police officer. He was able to locate my children and try to take my children from me and use the cops to take my kids from me before. And when I first left him, he would do things to other people. They would think, oh, that's so sweet, he sent you a gift, or oh, that's so sweet, he's fighting for his family. But that's not what he was doing. He was terrorizing me, and he was trying to put me in a position to where I would be forced to be back with him. So in that moment, my PTSD is triggered because I'm thinking, oh my God, he lost in court and now he's ramping up his efforts, and he's here we go again with this. And I am I'm frozen. I'm supposed to be rehearsing. I'm supposed to be thinking about, I'm ignoring you guys and I'm looking all at Facebook, but TikTok, Facebook. Gosh, I recently had a concussion, y'all, so bear with me messing up words and things like that. There was a car accident about 2 weeks ago and I was rear-ended, so bear with me with that. But I remember in that moment this morning when I read that text message, all of those memories came back. And then there was another ex that I was with, who was in a prominent position in that particular town, very popular on the radio. And he would do things to intimidate me once the relationship started just getting unbearable and really messing with my mental health. And I would try to leave. He would show up let's say I'm out to dinner with my girlfriends, or I'm out at like a karaoke or something, like he would show up and all the girls at the table are so excited to see him because he's popular, local celebrity, and I'm sitting there faking a smile and like, and he kissed me on my forehead. But what he was doing was showing up to let me know that no matter where I go, and he would tell me this when he would get like, if he wanted to like really mess with my head, he would say, I own this town, and no matter what you do or where you go, I'm always gonna know. This guy told me such and such, all these people, these are all my guys. And then also because he's a Mason and I'm an Eastern Star, that's a really big network, so he would use that against me as well. And this is a man who tried to, you know what, me, and there's the proof and the pictures and all that stuff. You can find it, you know, on my YouTube or whatever, if you want to look at all that stuff and go through that, whatever. But all these things cause trauma that's long lasting. So I'm getting a text message that says some man is waiting for you in the foyer with flowers. And to some people on the outside, who don't have a certain awareness or who don't have the experiences that I have, they would think, oh my God, that's such a sweet little, you know, Disney love story. Or, hi Sarah, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Oh, wow, that's quite the gesture. You know, that's a great grand gesture from whoever this is. And I'm frozen. And I have this feeling in the pit of my stomach. I still have it, but obviously, you know, logic kind of moved it away, but it's still there because it reactivated that feeling and those experiences that I had in the past. And I texted the MD back, who actually happens to be my fraternal brother. He's my Mason brother too. And I just said, hey, like, I'm really scared. Can you or can somebody else go to the door? Because I'm not expecting anyone. No one that would do something like that should even know that I'm here. And like, I don't really talk to anybody who, you know, and the few males that I do have conversations with, they wouldn't pull no stunts like that because they know me and they know that's not like, that's just a no-no. Not saying I don't like flowers, but that's really weird. And I don't like surprises. I don't.
It's a cultural divide. I'm gonna get it on the floor. You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. They get on it like that. Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like go. Must have on a beat, bro. Beat, bro.
This isn't just a mug, it's a whole mantra. Handle your business or your business will handle you. Sip like the boss that you are. Get yours now. Link in bio.
So now I'm looking around, I'm checking the exits, I'm looking at that foyer and that main entrance. I'm getting off the stage while we're in rehearsal, and I'm deciding I want to finish my rehearsal behind the MD and the other guy and the drummer area because I am afraid. And now I'm in this like fight, flight, run mode of what's going on, what's going to happen. And then I'm also thinking, oh my God, if something crazy happens in here, and am I responsible for it? Did I bring drama into this building? Which that's completely unhealthy. That would not be my fault. Anybody else's actions would not be my fault. But this is happening to me in the moment because of that. What happened was he sent a text message to, you know, I guess I'm not sure what you want to call them, like church security, things like that. And the senior pastor, or the pastor's father, who's like a senior pastor, we call him Pop Up. He kind of discreetly approached me a little while right, like toward the very, very end of rehearsal. And he described this guy and he was like, do you know this guy? Do you know this white guy? And I was like, no, I don't know this person at all. And it still didn't click like that it could have been the person that I just met earlier that morning, because that makes no sense, like at all. That makes zero sense. You know, a person who's doing a delivery, you're just going to do your delivery and keep it moving. That's all that I would expect. Even with my previous experiences, I still just wouldn't expect that. So I'm kind of dumbfounded, and I'm like, no, this doesn't match the description of anyone that I know. And again, like, I'm not expecting anyone, so please, you know, like they already saw the text message. I'm concerned, I'm scared, I'm not, you know, I don't, whatever it is, I don't want it, whatever. So they handled it, they sent the man away. I struggled with the idea of someone being sent away from church. Because remember, I'm someone who was not, I've had a lot more years of being dependent and being more kind of like a bit of a victim than I have being who I am today. So that old person will still speak to me, and I just have to speak back to her, because I was like, wait a minute, why am I feeling bad about somebody being sent away from church? Obviously, these people are trained professionals, people who work security. Some of them are retired police officers. Like, they know what they're doing. So if they sent him away, then that means it wasn't safe for him to stay. So, and again, like, why am I thinking about him? I need to only be thinking about myself and my safety. Like, why? But then again, this kind of speaks to the society that we live in, where even when we're the one that's potentially in danger, this is a society that will still always give the man an out, always give the man an excuse, always find a way to sympathize with the potential abuser rather than the person who needs to be the one to get that acute emotional and physical care and protection, which was me. Because no matter what, innocent or not, this guy was out of line, completely out of line. So before church started and we're taking our break to go to the, bathroom and stuff and touch up our makeup and everything, I was close to the foyer area. This is how much it affected me. I was afraid to go out there and even go to the bathroom. And that's so overwhelming. That is so overwhelming to be put back in. And the things that you can go through, it can follow you for the rest of your life because of what I've experienced in the past. Something like this that somebody else can consider such a small interaction, it triggered so much anxiety and fear that was partially debilitating for me. Like, I didn't even want to go. Like, I would rather go into another building to go to the bathroom than to go anywhere near that foyer and doorway again. Like, I don't even want to order Uber Eats to the church anymore. I don't. Like, some other people will stop. As a matter of fact, another singer told me, on Sundays sometimes now I just stop by Wawa. So, girl, let me know what you want and I'll just pick it up for you. You can cash at me or something. And I'm probably going to do that from now on, because I've experienced so much that I just try to just limit my interaction with XYs so much. Unless you are vetted and you have a reason to be around me, a legitimate one, I just don't want it. I don't want it. And here's another reason why. Maybe you can say it activated confirmation bias. Fine. I'm okay with that. Because what it should not have activated was trauma. So I had a conversation with one of the stewardess and someone else who had a direct interaction with the guy. And this is what they told me. They said a white guy came up. He drove up to the church. He had New York plates. We're in Jersey. And I'm like, New York plates? Like, first of all, I'm not even entertaining men right now, like, period. I'm just not. If you're in my life, it's because you legitimately, like, we're a business partner. You're the very, very few friends I've had since, like, maybe childhood or teenage years. And I can count that on one hand. You're my brother. That's it. That's it. Maybe we worked together and we had some paperwork to take care of on the last international trip. Like, I keep my circle in my world very small on purpose when it comes to my inner circle because of my experiences. So this is what they told me about the guy. They said he came up, it was a New York plate. They've never seen him before. Of course, because of the times that we're living in, the churches have to take security very seriously, especially when it's a predominantly Black church and you've got someone coming up that just is completely just kind of out of the norm. That doesn't mean you're going to not be welcoming, but in the times that we live in, and with the fact that we talk about Black people first, Black politics, there have been threats to this church, credible threats in the past. So they got to think about that stuff too. So they said he came up, he came in the foyer, he was holding flowers, and he stayed for a while. And he specifically was asking for the singer. So what he doesn't know is there is no the singer. We've got a couple. Like today we had upwards close to 10, I think, like 6 or something. So there is no the singer. There's a couple of us. So they were trying to ask him, like, which one are you looking for? Do you know her name? And he was like, no. So that's already a red flag. You're coming in with flowers for the singer, but you don't know her name. And then they said, what's your name? And one of the stewardess said that she asked for his name a couple of times and he would not tell them their name. That's red flag number 2. So it's not seeming so innocent anymore. You don't know her name. You're not giving up your name. And they said that he was behaving a little like erratic and that he kept pacing. He kept pacing in that foyer while he was holding the flowers. No one said that he became more agitated, but they did say that they were like, we can't really help you with this because we don't know who you want. And also you're not saying who you are. So we're not inclined to help you with anything beyond this. And that's when he was kind of pacing. And so he described me enough to where they were able to figure out that he was looking for me. And one of the ladies said, but do you know her? And she said that he lied to her and said, yes, he does know me. So this doesn't seem innocent at this point. You're saying you know me, you don't. You're saying that you don't know my name. You're not telling them who you are. So from there, whoever the guys are that take care of that type of stuff, they went ahead and sent him on his way. And I heard that pop up. We call him pop up. That he sent him on his way. So I'm grateful. But hearing all that as well, now it makes me unsettled for the rest of service because now I'm looking. I'm already hyper aware of my surroundings because of my experiences, and I know what people are capable. I've seen the darker side of people, particularly the darker side, the evil side of people that you would expect to be heroes or nice guys, because I've been with a couple of those type of people. So I'm always looking around. One of the things that was really important to me was to find out if our particular church had a particular type of security that really knew what they were doing, not just, some armor bearers or some, church deacons who, can talk tough and that's it. And that's why I stayed and continue to work there, because it's important for me to feel like there is some safety and security wherever I'm at. But I'm still looking around because of what happened. That's scary. Let me double check here. Yep, it is. Hi, Jen. Hi, Coach Nez. Hey, LA. LA Primacy. La Primacy. Hey, Nana. Gwendolyn. Hi. Sherry Nicholas. Your name is familiar. Do I know you? But hey. And thank you all. Thank you for being here and being a part of the conversation for however long you stayed. Thank you. And what would you do? What would you do? And if you're seeing this later on, I want to know, what would your thoughts be? What would you do in this situation? So the rest of the church service, I am, of course, I'm concerned. I am hyper aware. I'm looking. I keep looking at the door area. By this time, it had dawned on me who it was. I texted, hey, thanks for the follow too, by the way. I sent a text message back to the first person who texted me and I said, oh my God. I was like, I think that was the dude who dropped off my Uber Eats. That is absolutely, that's crazy. So someone kind of made a joke and was like, did you flirt with him? And I was like, absolutely not. Y'all know, please, I'm off that meat. I'm not interested. I don't care. I don't. One of my celebrity crushes, Method Man could walk in the building and I'd be like, yo, what's up, grip him up, give him a hug. I mean, he's still fine, but I just wouldn't. I would be like, can we do a song together? That's it. Of course, he married too, I know. But I'm just saying, that's somebody I crushed on, for really hard. I'm not, no. I have no, you can call me Ace or Era at this point. I've had enough. I'm done. So that wasn't the thing. And of course, he was just joking when he asked me that. But the way he said he knew you. Yes, the way he said that he knew me, that part was that's mad scary because that's not even seeming innocent anymore. Yes. So I'm considering all these things and I'm running back in my mind now because I'm also thinking what could I have done? That's not okay. That is unhealthy, but because the world looks at people who are victims or potential victims, they look at women and always want to find a way to make you responsible. And because that has been so much of my, hey Alexis, because that's been so much of my experience, the very first time I was brave enough to speak up in a church setting to the pastor of the church, who was my father, And I actually didn't do it for myself. I told another woman who was my aunt, and she told, the church and the church family. But the very first time I was brave enough to speak up about a man who was wildly inappropriate with me, and trying to censor it because I know you get cut off on here, but he was inwarding me for a while, and then it went from that to the R word. You can fill in the blanks. I remember being told that it was my fault because I shouldn't have been in a grown man's face. What was I doing? How was I dressing? So I learned as a child, my reality was, and I was taught very early, do I forgive my father? Do I forgive these church folks? Sure. Is it okay? Hell no. Is it okay? No. I'm never going to lie and say it was okay or act like it was. But I was taught, and so many women around the world have been taught, that whatever happens to you, or whatever potentially happens to you, even in conversations, when it comes to you and an XY, it is your responsibility. It is your fault. So once again, I've got that negative, abusive self-talk coming up. Now, I talk back to that girl now. I talk back to her, and I don't stay in that space. But that's still the majority of my reality. So she's speaking to me again, saying, well, maybe you were a little bit too nice. Maybe you shouldn't have invited him back to church and this wouldn't have happened. Fuck that. Oh.
Y'all, I'm officially a YouTube partner, and I just launched memberships. Join my community for exclusive perks like behind-the-scenes content, custom badges, and shout-outs. Hit that join button and let's level up together, because we're just getting started, baby.
Like, that's literally how I talk back to her too. The little girl who was raised by people who were so male-centered and pick-me's and mammies and all that stuff. I got to talk back to that girl on a regular basis and be like, no, damn that. This is not on you. He should have done his job and stayed professional and left it like that. And even if he was invited to come back to church, he was invited to come to church. He was not invited to go get some roses. When you tell Uber jokingly to come to church, don't expect them to show up saying they know you with flowers. Yeah, it was still an invitation to go to church, not to come back and try to come for me. That's not what that was whatsoever. Whatever he decided to do, that was what he decided to do. I am not responsible for it. I'm not picking up none of the responsibility for that shit. I'm not picking up for the responsibility for the fact that he came back and lied and said he knew me either. There have been other experiences in the past like this, in a setting kind of like this. I remember I was singing for some jazz festival. This was in Oklahoma. I don't know how many years ago, but I'm singing. There wasn't a lot of security because obviously I'm not Janet, I don't require security like that. I do appreciate when we're doing festivals and I'm doing things like that. And as I begin to kind of progress, there is a little bit more of that. And I ask for some of those things, and try to get some semblance of that. But at this point, it was none of that. It was just, the guys in the band that would just, make sure that I was good. So we're performing, and some guy who was drunk off his he was just gone. He decided he kept coming close to the stage. He went to the side of the stage, and before I know it, this fool was on stage, coming for me. Now, his intentions could have been innocent, to just try to dance with me, but it's a drunk man completely out of line on stage coming at me. And so the keyboardist got off his keys, and thank goodness for him. And he was retired military, so he had them skills, you know what I'm talking about? And he he swept his ass off stage real quick, got in his face for a little while, and got his ass up out that place. But that should not be the norm, and people shouldn't feel so XY shouldn't feel so entitled to do that. Once again, I see, I want, I take. Even if it's just, I take more conversation, I take more of your time. Even that, it's not yours. It's not yours to take. You are not entitled to be in my space. You are not entitled to be in any woman's space at all. It's not yours. It belongs to me. If I am performing, if I am even singing in church, that you're still not entitled. You get to sit there in the audience or in the parishioner, if it's outside of church, you get to be there and you get to sit there in the audience and be a fan and enjoy the music, and that is it. I don't owe you anything else, and you don't get anything else. If you are coming to church, you get to sit there and be a parishioner, and you are invited to join in the worship. That's it. That is what I'm there for. I'm there to help provide an experience, to help you metaphysically, spiritually in that moment, to help to usher you into a place that whatever it is you came for, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Okay. Just not. And that's the bottom line of this. This is why you see so many posts and so many conversations from women who say things like, I choose the bear. I now choose the bear. I now choose the gorilla. If there's 100 men fighting a gorilla, I pick the gorilla. This is why you see so many of us saying this, because we're not even safe in interactions that are just as simple, or should be just as simple as us doing our job. I should be able to do my job, and you should be able to do your job, and it should be safe, and it should be just that. Just that. This is not a Disney movie. And honestly, oh God, I want to go back. Let me find it. I texted my girlfriends because I needed some acute emotional care in that moment. I just felt I was so shook about that. So let me go back. And I told them what happened in the moment, and they just kind of like talked me down. And I'm like, let me step away, let me breathe, because I got a job to do, and this does not need to get in the way of that.
Hey ladies, I'm here to introduce you to legal empowerment through LegalShield and ID Shield. Did you know that with your membership, you get a free will and estate plan? That's right. Protect your future with legal protection at your fingertips. Whether you need a lawyer, want to protect your identity, or just want peace of mind, LegalShield has you covered. As Black women, we know the importance of protecting ourselves and our families, and having the right legal support is essential. And it's not just about protection. Legal empowerment is also a great opportunity to build additional income. I'm looking for ambitious women to join Ladies of Justice, a community of powerful women making a difference. Join today and take control of your future. Contact me now and let's make sure you're covered, legally and financially.
So the first question that one of my best friends texted me, my girl Lala, she was like, are we excited about this or are we frightened? But this is a sincere question. And I'm so glad that she asked that question, because it was like asking, who am I in this moment? Am I the girl from the past who was taught that someday my prince will come? And oh my God, this is such a really whimsical, romantic moment. Or am I the grown-ass, fully actualized, sovereign woman who sees this for just what it is right now, in this moment? Who am I right now? And who am I and who I decide to be is going to determine how I respond to this as well. And if I'm going to internalize this and everything else. So my daughter's in my girlfriend's text group because my oldest daughter is now an adult. And I believe that you should not protect your children from the truth. You should protect your children with the truth. So that's a whole nother conversation for another time, about how I got dogged to the heavens about always letting my kids be so grown and this and that and the way I talk to them. But guess what? My baby just finished her sophomore year of college. Okay. And I don't know how many people in my generation who talk bad about me and my mothering skills, how many of them can say that? Oh, so actually, my daughter texted me and texted the group and said, yeah, actually same question. I keep going like, is this scary or is this a, cute little meetup, especially because you have no interest in dating, but I'm sure you already turned them down. But is this a positive moment or a weird one? And that was a genuine question for her, because she needs to know about these interactions as she continues to go out there in a world as a brand new woman, as a brand new adult. These are things that she's going to encounter and that she needs to be equipped for as well. So my daughter went on to say, like, you're so beautiful and vibrant, that he came back with flowers, but also He came back with flowers, waiting for someone he doesn't know. I guess it depends on how you look at it. So, I responded. I was frightened, and it was weird. The old me would have found this so flattering, but at its core, this is very troubling. And I also feel a bit of pity for him. But seriously, I am still concerned for my safety. I was shaking and I was afraid to get on the stage to sing. And I'm also going to ask to be escorted to my car. This really triggered my anxiety and PTSD. So the conversation continues, and one of my best friends was like, and here we have evidence of the importance of sincere sisterhood. Good for you for cultivating the right tribe for a moment like this. So we continue to talk, and of course they talked about, like praying that the anxiety you have subsides, blah, blah, blah. And then one of my besties was like, I also think it's pretty dope that you gave us the opportunity to reflect your response options, given the circumstances, back to you, and hopefully aid in reacting as a wise woman would, rather than as a Disney princess would. And then we went on, Ashe, baby. Okay, amen. A-woman and Ashe, baby. Because seriously, I grew up in the Disney princess era. So the way that I grew up and the way that I was raised, and a lot of women my age and older than me, and younger than me, from the 20s up, a lot of them were raised in that Disney princess mentality, and would look at that and really kind of over romanticize this and go, man, wow, that was this extraordinary, but it also could have been love bombing. And let me tell you, I have been approached initially like this by so many men. I know one time I met a guy, and it was after a gig I was performing, and the very next day he showered me with thousands of dollars. And oftentimes when they come with, and they don't even know you, and they're showing up with the flowers and this and that. And I'm not saying that I'm not worthy of this. That's not what I'm saying. Yes, I am. I am worthy of being spoiled and of being brought flowers and gifts. And I love all that. But there's a certain vibration, and there's a certain time when it's when it's appropriate. And then you've got to be able to develop, and it took me a long time to develop that discernment of knowing when it's not safe and when this is a trap, when this is just love bombing to open me up, to fatten me up for the kill. And obviously this is not a lesson to teach all that, but it's just a discussion about what happened this morning, how it made me feel, the old memories that it brought back, why it triggered my anxiety and PTSD, why I have anxiety and PTSD in the first place, the level of entitlement that so many men have. And then also, like I said, I did feel a sense of pity for this guy, because is the male loneliness epidemic, is it so far? Is it so much of a crisis that even a woman just being kind and nice would cause a guy to to do something that kind of extreme in that moment? Because maybe he thought, man, I'm never going to get a chance like this ever again. Because that's a sad thing to consider. That's a sad thing to think about. Obviously, sad or not, I'm not giving pity, and I'm not making any of that mine. That's not my problem to fix. And then I also thought, well, maybe this guy is on the spectrum, so he doesn't quite understand how a lot of conversations and human interactions work. And I have a lot of experience with that, for lots of different reasons. And some people can be so literal that if you say, yeah, you should come back to church, that maybe they're thinking something else. And honestly, maybe he thought he had a shot, and that's kind of sad as well. But then that also made me bring that kind of back around full circle, that if that's the case, that's also not my problem. That's just not my problem. But it really isn't. That's not my problem, and not my responsibility either. Because if that's the case, he's responsible for doing whatever the work that it takes to get himself out of that space to where he's suffering from the loneliness epidemic. There's therapy, there's friendship groups, there's education, there's free education. Shit, there's Google. There's Google. You can literally Google, why am I so lonely? Why don't I have good interactions with women? Ask an AI best friend. Heck, it's free. So the self-help and the tools that somebody like that would need to be able to learn how to have healthier social interactions, to learn how to interact with women in a way that doesn't make them literally like afraid for the rest of the day, like I am. Those tools and those resources are out there if they want to. And oftentimes those guys that do create those situations are typically men like the one that, hell, I got rid of over a year ago, that don't like their moms, that don't want to listen to their mothers, that don't want to listen to women either way. So there's really no help for them. They're going to keep manifesting these type of, situations because you can't tell them anything anyway. And they don't want to see themselves. They don't want to mirror. They don't want to learn, grow, expand. They don't want to go deep. So again, that's just not my problem. Wow. I'm still struggling with this because it's just incredibly unfair, to still be living in a world that is largely unsafe for me because I am a woman and also because I am a Black woman. So when you see guys who talk about, how come she doesn't smile more? How come she doesn't seem, you're not friendly enough, or smile, you're you're too beautiful too. Because of stuff like this. Just because of stuff like this. And because fuck you. Because we don't have to. Because we don't owe you any damn thing. We just don't. Just because you want it doesn't mean you get it. Like, how come y'all haven't learned this? How come y'all wouldn't just really let that lesson settle in back in kindergarten? Oh, I know why. Because back in kindergarten, when guys would throw a tantrum about not getting their way, what would the teacher say to the girls? Oh, he's only behaving like that because he likes you. Oh, hell, I was in junior high and hearing, oh, he's just making fun of you like that because he likes you. That's why he did that. Because it's always that we were supposed to make some sort of accommodation for the guy's impediment or for the guy's inability or incapability or refusal to function in a way that is healthy, that's normal, that's okay. We're always conditioned to give them some sort of an excuse and give them a lot of grace. But damn it, what about us? What about me? Because having a lifetime of being like that with the strangers, the classmates, the cousins, the brothers, oh my God, and especially in the Black community with the Black man as a whole. Don't tell on the Black man and don't tell the Black man that he's wrong. Protect him. Keep him out of jail. This and this and that. What happens is it develops a lot of women like me who have trauma, who suffer from trauma, who suffer from PTSD, who feel largely unsafe, who some of us become bitter and hateful and those, Grinch women that are on the wall or whatever because of that. Who hurt you? Damn it, you did. You did. All of you people that are out here right now blaming Cassie and saying that she wanted it and she liked it because you saw a couple of text messages where she probably said the things that she needed to say in survival. All of you people that still look at the fact that when I came out and showed the pictures of my jaw being broke by an ex-boyfriend, you guys saying, well, yeah, but you just did a commercial with him last month, so it couldn't be that bad. You're still with him. Who hurt you? You people. Because you people continue to perpetuate this environment that still allows abuse to start out and to grow and to continue. And you tell us, like some people probably will watch this video and will say to me, it's not a big deal. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe he was just trying to shoot his shots. Always protecting the guy. But damn me. Damn the anxiety I still feel in my gut. Damn the self-talk and everything else and the back and forth that I went through, the mental gymnastics and Olympics of, Should I care about the public perception? Should I care about him more? Or should I really, really stop and really focus on myself? The little girl that's in me and the grown woman that's in me that is really going through something right now, because at the end of the day, he was inappropriate. He was inappropriate. And that's not okay. And he needs to learn how to have appropriate interactions and when to be professional and when not. And then also the second guessing of myself. Was I wrong for just inviting a guy to church? Like, damn. All of that. That's the world that we live in. That's not all of us. That's the world that I live in, that I'm forced to live in as a woman. And that's the world I'm forced to live in also as a Black woman. And that's a whole nother intersectionality that we can talk about another time. But that plays a part in everything as well, because as a Black woman, we're taught even more, and we bear the worst of being this safe space and being this place of grace for men and their degeneracy. Excuse me. All right. That's it for now. I'm Darling Nikki. My website is askdarlingnikki.com. I'm going to blog about this later. Some of you really like to read the blog, so you can see the blog on the website. I'm going to do a live maybe tomorrow afternoon with a couple of my girlfriends where we talk about this and other things. And so, just, catch me if you can. You can see this, when it's all chopped and screwed and edited on my YouTube. Links to all of my social media. Hey, thank you. Hey, Wayne, thanks so much for the stars. Thank you. Links to everything, like all of my social media is all on the website, the blog. Join the email list, a couple of products and services I have as well, including LegalShields, all that stuff on the website, askdarlingnikki.com. And if you're following me on Facebook, and if you're on my Facebook, and if you're on my, what is this called? Oh my gosh. I keep wanting to call it Twitter. My TikTok, follow me, hit the follow button. Please share this, drop some comments. I appreciate your engagement. If you're here, and a lot of you, I see lots of names popping up more so on TikTok. If you were here and you were here for a couple of seconds, thanks so much for the likes. There's a lot of loves on here. Thank you. So if you're here, then interact. That's the least you can do. If you stayed for a while, that means there was something that was worth staying. So interact. Like, love, comment, share. All that stuff means a lot. I am a mompreneur in Trump's America. Okay. Got a full-time job, but I'm also, on my grind because Trump's America. All right. Bye-bye, y'all.